I know people are going to call me a stalker or a simp, but it is what it is. I'm a 28-year-old man who has loved my 27-year-old fiancée since the day I knew what love was. We met when I was 15 and she was 14. She was beautiful, the kind of person you see once in a mall and remember even after 10 years. I'm sure everyone has seen such a girl at least once. She was also sweet and fun, never in a bad mood despite having many issues at home that affected her life choices. She was materialistic and never denied it. She always wanted good things and accepted it openly. I liked her for it because she wasn't pretentious or fake. When I first interacted with her, she made it clear she would only marry a doctor. She had good reasons and a story for it, and I acknowledged that. I accepted it. I wasn't very good at studies, but not an absolute dumbass either, so I gave it my everything. We live in India, so if you're a middle-class kid, you have to pass a crazy hard competitive exam to get into a good government-run medical school because we didn't have enough money for a private one. I had to try for 2 years after graduating high school to finally get into medical school. While I was stuck at home studying, she was doing a degree in arts after high school. When I was preparing for the entrance exam, she was just a friend. Not too friendly, but not too distant either. She made it clear it was nothing more than friendship, though. I also heard about her dating other people, but I didn't care because in my mind I always thought of marrying her eventually. I know this sounds creepy, but that's how my mind worked. When I finally got into medical school, she changed. She got more friendly toward me, broke up with her boyfriend, and we started dating after a while. Medical school is long, so when I was in school, she had already graduated and was teaching in a secondary school, which was not very stable or high-paying, but she stuck with me all through medical school. After I graduated, I joined a hospital with pretty good pay. Although I had long shifts, the income was solid. During this period, she told her parents about me. Her parents were pretty happy too because in India, everyone wants a doctor's son-in-law. We've been engaged for a year now. We would have married already, but I'm doing postgraduate training in dermatology, which is so hectic, I can barely attend someone else's marriage, let alone my own. 2 weeks ago, I saw my fiancée had red spots on her body, mostly on her back. I checked everything and diagnosed it as possibly bedbug bites. She panicked, but I told her there were no issues because we would just clean our houses and it wouldn't happen again. We checked both our places. She has rented a house near her school and I have a hostel room on the hospital premises that they provide to postgraduate trainees, although I mostly live at her place. We didn't find anything much, so I told her I must have diagnosed wrong and we should get her blood tested. She was very hesitant because she's afraid of needles, but I said it was necessary. I told her to come to the hospital the next day when she got free from school. The next day, she came to the hospital from her school with a male colleague. I had met him earlier, so I was cordial to him. We got her blood sample to the pathology lab, and I started talking with this colleague of hers. I asked him where he lived, and he told me. That rang a huge bell in my head, because in the outpatient department we see hundreds of patients a day from the surrounding areas. We see many people from the same area having papular urticaria, which is a fancy way of saying insect bites. The bites can be from any insects or even bed bugs, but that particular area has a swamp that gets dried out in summers and the whole area gets papular urticaria symptoms. It's a common regular thing and everyone in our dermatology department knows it. I just blurted out asking if he had any red swellings on his body or anything. He said yeah, a little. Right after he said it, he went back on his words and said nothing much though, just mosquitoes and all, but it had already registered in my mind. After he left, I took my fiancée back home, but I had this feeling that wouldn't go away. The next day, I saw her reports and she had no issues. I called her and told her I found no issues. I got insect bite medications for her and gave them to her. In 2 to 3 days, she was all right, but I couldn't get this feeling out of me. One night when she slept, I checked her phone. I had never done it in all my life. I found nothing, but I couldn't get through this nagging feeling. The next day, I took a break from my shift and went near her school and followed her when she left. She went straight home. When I saw this, I scolded myself for being such an asshole and being so suspicious. But for the next 3 days, I kept doing the same. On the third day, I saw her leave with that colleague, and I saw them go to his house. My world shattered. I have loved her all my life. I changed my life for her. She wanted to marry a doctor, so I became a doctor. Didn't she say she would be with someone who is more successful than her? Then what the hell was she doing with this guy? I have nothing against teachers, but he literally earns in 4 months what I can earn in 1. Why the hell did I work this hard? Why the hell did I love her so much? Since that day, I have said nothing to her because I don't know what to do. I have built my whole life around her. I just keep asking myself what I didn't have that she had to go to someone else. I know I'm not super handsome, but I'm not that bad looking either. She is way out of my league, I know, but I have worked all my life so that I could be someone she can remain with. If this is what she wants, why has she stayed with me all these years? I have had no issues with her ever. She has been the perfect girlfriend. She cares for me. She supports me. I have literally slept on her lap for hours while she sat there stroking my hair. So what is this now? Where did this go wrong that she has to go to someone else? What were the last 8 years? I know this is getting quite long, but I have nowhere to go. I don't have many close friends because she was my everything, because my life revolves around her. I can't tell this to my family because I don't want anyone else to find out. What do I do? I know it might be that no one sees this, but what am I supposed to do? Update. I'm updating this to address all the people who have commented or sent me private messages. To those who have given genuine advice, I thank you. I will try to keep in mind everything you have said. I have also offended people by disrespecting teachers. I'm sorry for that. I was feeling very low and the negativity just came out. I didn't think a man feeling low or having low self-esteem and saying that honestly here would bring so much negative emotion in people. Some people have been outright hostile and abusive. I do understand that people don't like a man being weak. I'll try to strengthen that about me. Yes, I do accept I'm coming off as naive, obsessed, and whatnot. Emotional attachment of 13 years does not go away in a single day. If it does for you, then maybe I'm not as strong as you. But all this negativity has at least numbed me. I do think this will help me to confront her and face up to my life. I didn't think I was emotionally strong enough to do that, so I guess it has helped me a little. Also, to people who have texted me saying this seems fake and everything, I wish that were true. I wouldn't be in such condition right now. If it comes off as too flowery or seems like it was written by AI, then I have to say I'm sorry I can't write in bad English purposefully. Our Indian education system has crammed into us the power to write in correct English with slaps, sticks, sandals, and whatnot. If there are grammatical mistakes and anything else, I will accept that. And no, I'm not abusive. I have never been. I come off as a stalker, following her and everything. I know. I missed some of my medical duties for that, which I never thought I would, so I think I can't go any lower than that. My husband has repeatedly told me that if I ever cheated on him, he would kill the other person, kill me, and then kill himself. When he said this, he appeared calm and serious, like he was simply stating a fact. Later, when I brought it up, he claimed it was a joke, but there was nothing joking about how he said it. I interpreted it more as a manipulation tactic than a genuine threat. He's also said things like he would have no reason to live without me, and that he wanted to kill himself before we met but didn't because he found me. I'm wondering, for those who have experienced similar statements, did the situation escalate? Obviously, I have no intention of cheating, but I'm trying to understand how concerning these kinds of comments actually are in a marriage. I want to add more context because things have developed recently and now I'm questioning everything, trying to figure out if the man I thought I married was even real. When we first met on Hinge in late April 2022, he was extremely insecure and controlling. About 4 weeks into the relationship, he went through my phone and discovered I'd been involved with someone else about 2 weeks before meeting him. He accused me of cheating even though I had stopped seeing the other guy as soon as I met my husband in person, because I knew I wanted to pursue things with him. At the time, I had been telling my husband I wasn't ready for a relationship and needed to take things slowly, that I wasn't his girlfriend. None of that mattered to him. When he found out, he completely lost it, threatened to kill himself, threatened me with violence, saying he should be kicking my teeth in, and made my life miserable. I was afraid to fall asleep because I worried he would hurt himself while I slept, or go through my phone and find things from before I even knew him to get upset about. If he did, I'd wake up to him asking who I'd sent certain pictures to from months before we started talking. He told me it was disgusting and I needed to cut off every guy in my life. I did what he demanded because I loved him, and because I was scared of what he might do if I ended things. 6 months later, I was exhausted from having my location constantly tracked and being his only emotional support, so I tried to break up with him. He sat there crying and promised he would change and wouldn't be that person anymore. I asked him to leave and he said he would sleep in his car even though his brother lives 5 minutes away. I told him I wouldn't let him sleep in his car, so I allowed him to stay on the couch with the understanding he wouldn't come into the bedroom. I woke up around 2 in the morning to find him standing over me, claiming he was looking for something I'd already given him, though I suspect he wanted to go through my phone again. When I came home from work the next day, there was a list of homeless shelters on a piece of paper beside his bed. I figured I was supposed to see it and feel guilty. The following day, he promised to change, so I gave him another chance to make things right. He swore he would be the man I deserved and treat me like a princess. Everything seemed mostly good after that. He seemed perfect, and I thought I'd found my soulmate. Except for one night, about a month ago, when I was using his phone and needed to go back through his browser history to find something. I discovered numerous links to male escort listings on Locanto, and then a bunch of gay porn where he'd specifically searched for things like young hot cock and cute young guy jerking off. When I confronted him, he first pretended he had no idea what I was talking about, then said he didn't know what it was for, and finally told me he was scared because he couldn't get an erection. He claimed he was trying to handle himself to pictures and videos of us and it wouldn't work. So he freaked out, and that was his reaction to see if it did anything. He said he started with the escort listings, then moved to porn, had a quick look, and closed it when nothing happened. I didn't understand because we'd had sex the day before and everything seemed fine, and he had a doctor's appointment the next day where he could have asked about it. I asked if he'd tried gay porn before, and he said yes when he was much younger, and it didn't do anything for him. I said I was struggling to understand why he would suddenly turn to this if he'd never been interested before. He became extremely defensive and screamed at me that he was freaking out and couldn't believe I thought he was gay. I told him it wouldn't be a problem if he was bisexual or bi-curious, since I'm bi myself. But the escort listings were a huge concern to me, and he knew how I would feel about that. I ended up talking to someone close to him and discovered that something he told me at the beginning of our relationship was completely fabricated. He told me the car accident he had when he was 18 or 19 was a suicide attempt, but this was a lie and there was actually someone else in the car with him. I told him I didn't understand why he would lie about that, and he was extremely evasive and defensive. At the same time, I questioned him about other weird things throughout our relationship, and it turned out those were all lies too. Throughout our relationship, he constantly told me how much he valued our openness and honesty, and how he could never lie to me, not even a white lie. I told him that all these lies were especially concerning given how vocal he'd always been about the importance of honesty and trust with your partner. I told him I was struggling to trust him and asked if there was anything else he'd lied about or hidden from me, offering him a lie amnesty where I just wanted everything on the table so we could move forward with a clean slate and some therapy. The entire time he was being evasive and telling me there was nothing else he'd hidden or lied about, that he was going to be completely honest from now on and I knew everything. I still didn't believe him, so he offered me his phone and Google account to put my mind at rest. Turns out he didn't clean up as well as he thought because I discovered it wasn't the only time he'd looked at escort listings since we'd been together. A few months prior, he'd Googled his ex, then searched for her name and nudes and immediately watched porn and jerked off. The day after my birthday last year, he'd been searching for booty call apps. Right before we met, when I was supposedly the gross one for flirting with a guy, he'd been signing up for at least 15 hookup apps with names like Sex Finder and Aussie MILFs and One Night Friend. He'd signed up to my transgender date the night before we met in person, after talking for a week and telling me he was smitten and couldn't wait to meet me. 4 weeks before we met, he was swapping pictures with men on FetLife and talking about what he wanted to do to them while telling them he likes trans and femboy stuff, also liking lots of pre-op MTF pictures on the same site. He'd had some sort of contact with an escort previously since her email address was in his contacts, but he couldn't tell me when or why. Even though he repeatedly told me he didn't see the appeal of OnlyFans or sex workers, he was still searching for them more than he ever admitted to watching porn. He later admitted he didn't realize Google saves your searches even if you clear your browser history. I tried to understand why he'd done these things while feeling like the person he'd always portrayed himself to be was completely fake. When I asked him about searching for his ex's nudes, he immediately flew into a rage with no buildup, just straight to maximum fury. He screamed at me that he would never do that he would admit to anything else but not that. He completely lost his mind in a way I'd never seen anyone react before. Everything else he claimed he just didn't remember. A few days later, I asked him to stay with family for a while so we could clear our heads. A few days after that, I decided I could never get over the betrayal I felt, that I felt like I'd married a lie, and most importantly, the trust was gone. About a week later, he told me he wanted to come home so he could return to work since his family lives 2 hours away. I told him he could stay in the house as long as he respected that we were still separated, and I didn't want him pretending everything was back on track. He said he completely understood. So far, it hasn't been like that, and he keeps talking about when we do things and how much he loves me, which has set me back 2 weeks emotionally. I don't know how I feel or what to do. He's since admitted to everything, even though he said he would never do some of those things, and his excuses and reasons just don't make sense. He's also admitted he has a problem with lying and doesn't know why he does it. I told him I hate that I even feel like I need to second guess him, and that I do not want to be the kind of wife who goes through her husband's phone. Part of me is hopeful that with enough counseling we can make this work, but the rest of me fears that now the trust is gone, the relationship is finished. Maybe I just don't love or respect myself enough to see how messed up this really is. Maybe I'm gaslighting myself. The bottom line is my husband said he would kill me if I cheated on him multiple times. I didn't take it seriously. But I've since discovered he's been looking at male escort listings, searching for his ex's nudes, and compulsively lying. Here's the clean version for voiceover, no parentheses, full sentences only, natural spoken flow. My partner and I have been together for just under 4 years. She's 31, I'm 28. We met at a mutual friends gathering and started out as friends with benefits. Then she unexpectedly got pregnant. After a lot of long conversations, we decided to keep the baby and turn our casual relationship into a real committed one. Overall, it has worked out well. Despite the stereotype that having a child to save a relationship rarely ends well, sharing parenting actually helped us discover deeper positive qualities in each other. And that's when I truly fell in love with her. From the very beginning, however, her severe insecurity and fear of infidelity has been a constant problem. She has a painful history of being cheated on, which I completely understand. But even after almost 4 years, she still worries that I will leave or cheat on her. The accusations and interrogations have improved a lot over time, but they still happen once or twice a week. I was recently laid off. I felt embarrassed and didn't want to just sit around waiting for job responses, so I started doing all the housework that had piled up. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, everything. About a month later, I decided that until I find a new job, I would save us money by picking our daughter up from daycare myself and watching her at home. Normally, my partner drops her off on the way to work, and I pick her up in the afternoon. I thought it would be a nice surprise and a way to show her I was still contributing to the family, even without a paycheck. I was genuinely excited for her to come home and see our daughter happy and well cared for. So 2 days ago, I picked our daughter up early, did some light cleaning, and spent the whole day with her. Our usual routine had been that my partner gets home from work first. We have a couple of quiet hours together while our daughter is still at daycare, and then I leave to pick her up. This time, our daughter was already home, so there was no child-free window. She usually gets tired about 45 to 60 minutes before my partner arrives, so I let her take a nap next to me in our bed. She loves sleeping completely under the covers, even over her head. I always think it's adorable. I was lying next to her, waiting excitedly for my partner to get home. When she walked into the bedroom and saw a small lump completely hidden under the blankets beside me, she instantly assumed the worst. She grabbed the bedside lamp and threw it at us. Thankfully, it hit me first and the thick blanket absorbed most of the impact, but the bulb shattered and glass went everywhere. She realized almost immediately that it was our daughter, but by then our little girl was screaming and terrified. I was furious. I yelled at my partner, told her to get out of the room, and spent a long time calming our daughter down. My partner apologized right away, but every apology came with a "but." "I'm sorry, but why didn't you tell me you picked her up early?" "I shouldn't have done that, but you were hiding something from me." "Yes, I overreacted, but you have to understand why I thought you were cheating." I apologized sincerely and without any buts for not telling her about the change in routine. I took full responsibility for that part. She, however, refuses to give a clean apology and keeps saying her violent reaction was my fault because I kept a secret. That's exactly how she told the story to her friends and family, emphasizing that I hid something and downplaying the fact that she threw a lamp at what she thought was me cheating and almost injured our child. I told her the blame shifting was unacceptable. She still insisted that because I gave her a reason to be suspicious, the blame can't be entirely on her. Last night, I gave her a clear ultimatum. Physical violence or anything that puts our daughter in danger is never acceptable. I told her that if she doesn't agree to couples therapy immediately and apologize directly to our daughter, we are finished. I made it crystal clear that throwing an object hard enough to shatter glass toward a bed, no matter who she thought was in it, is physical abuse. I think that conversation finally made her understand how serious this was. She hadn't seen her actions as abuse until I spelled it out. Yesterday, we both sat down with our daughter. My partner apologized and explained that throwing things in huge, angry reactions are never okay. Our daughter understood, but she's still scared of her mom and hasn't fully warmed back up yet. I've re-enrolled our daughter in daycare, so we'll have that child-free time in the evenings again. But now we'll be using it for couples therapy instead of relaxing. I've also told my partner that she already has access to my location at all times, and I will no longer answer or engage with cheating interrogations. Refusing to feed the insecurity is part of fixing this. I don't know yet if things will actually get better, and I know it will take time. But regardless of whether she ever gives me the clean apology I want, what matters most is that our daughter is never put in danger again because of her mother's uncontrolled jealousy. I'm completely overwhelmed by this situation and unsure how to proceed. I'll do my best to keep this brief, though it's been an absolute nightmare. My husband was involved in an affair with a woman who is now experiencing stalking and harassment both online and offline. The harassment keeps getting worse, and whoever is responsible is deliberately making it appear as though I'm the one behind it. Getting past infidelity is already difficult, but is reconciliation even feasible when there are constant reminders and ongoing consequences nearly a year later? Should I persevere, or is this beyond saving? How do I handle being forced to interact with my husband's affair partner if I want to protect my own reputation? Earlier this year, I, a 52-year-old woman, got a phone call from Amy, a 37-year-old woman, informing me that she'd been having a multi-year affair with my husband, Ben, who is 59. I only know Amy casually. We live in a relatively small community and all work in the same industry. I'm not certain what finally prompted her confession, but she wanted to meet face-to-face to share her perspective. When I declined, she appeared at our home and caused a scene. I won't detail all the ugly specifics, but the immediate aftermath was devastating. Ben and I are currently in couples therapy, and while we're still together, our future remains unclear. Adding to the humiliation of the infidelity itself, Amy went public with the affair on social media, posting numerous video updates presenting her version of events. She has a substantial following across several platforms, and given our mutual connections, the story spread rapidly throughout our community. Amy claimed she was warning the community, describing Ben as a predator who exploited his position to take advantage of her, though she acknowledged the relationship was consensual. For context, we're fairly well known in our area and co-own a thriving business together. Amy portrayed herself as a vulnerable, insecure woman who was swept up by a charismatic older man in an industry where she was trying to advance her career. She said he led her on, professed his love, and manipulated her feelings. According to Ben, they were intimate only a few times over 3 years, typically when they encountered each other at events where I wasn't present. He claims there was no emotional connection and that he'd been attempting to create distance from her when she contacted me. I still don't know whose account is more accurate, and I may never know. To Ben's credit, he showed me his phone, and his communication with her appears to support his version, though obviously I can't know if he deleted more incriminating messages. Amy has repeatedly threatened to release evidence proving there was a genuine relationship between them. But as far as I know, she hasn't done so. I understand how this looks and how staying in this marriage reflects on me. I can acknowledge that initially I directed most of my anger toward Amy and minimized Ben's responsibility. However, with everything that's transpired since, I feel completely unable to process my emotions about any of this. After the initial scandal subsided, people gradually lost interest in our personal drama, and Ben and I began the difficult process of determining how to move forward. I blocked Amy on all platforms to avoid the temptation of checking on her. Then, approximately 3 months ago, I was suddenly flooded with notifications and direct messages on social media. I was shocked to discover they were from strangers accusing me of running a troll account that was brutally attacking Amy online. The account was posting comments calling her a slut, a liar, a homewrecker, and saying she wasn't welcome in our town. This person had also gone through my social media history and was posting photos of Ben and me, claiming Amy would never have what we have. The troll account was following only one other account, mine. Amy's numerous online supporters had apparently determined that the wife was the most probable culprit. I had to make all my social media private, including my business profiles, but not before enduring the humiliating experience of countless internet strangers telling me I'm old and unattractive and that my husband's infidelity was understandable. I asked a close friend to investigate since I couldn't handle it myself, and Ben is practically clueless about social media. My friend reviewed Amy's posts and discovered she'd been continuing to make regular video updates about the affair and its aftermath. According to these videos, someone has been stalking and harassing her since she went public. It began with hostile anonymous text messages essentially threatening to drive her out of town. She posted screenshots of these messages and stated in a video that she suspected I was responsible. Someone also hand-delivered a threatening letter directly to her mailbox. All evidence suggested this was someone local who had both her phone number and home address, not just a random online troll. My friend also informed me that the troll account impersonating me went silent after 2 or 3 days, and that Amy had actually criticized the people who attacked me, saying she didn't believe I was behind it. Things appeared to calm down again, and I attempted to move forward. Several weeks later, Ben and I received a message from Amy's employer about some emails he'd received. These came from an anonymous sender, but there were indications pointing to me. The email address included Ben's and my initials, and the sender's name was my first name. The message essentially stated that certain unnamed influential community members were concerned about him employing Amy. The sender suggested he consider the business ramifications of having a prostitute on staff. Several sexually suggestive and semi-nude photos of Amy were attached, images she had posted publicly on an adult content social media account. We assured her employer that this wasn't our doing and that we had no interest in threatening her employment. We also decided to reach out to Amy, and she appeared appreciative. We wanted her to know we weren't involved and offered to help if there was anything we could do. Ben and I had already been discussing retaining legal counsel and hiring a private investigator. Amy asked if we would write a statement for her to post on social media saying we didn't condone this behavior, that we supported her as a community member, and that we wanted whoever was responsible to stop immediately. It seemed like an unusual request, but appeared harmless enough if it would help the situation. Then Amy proposed that we all meet for dinner to work out the details and finally clear the air between us. I rejected that idea immediately. I assume she's seeking closure or forgiveness or something similar, and I have absolutely no interest in that. I'm sorry for what she's experiencing, but I don't like this woman and never will. I certainly don't want to sit down with her socially. The conversation deteriorated from there and ended on a very awkward and tense note. I established a firm boundary with Ben that we wouldn't be providing a statement or communicating with her directly in any capacity moving forward, and he readily agreed. My friend has continued updating me. Since the email incident, things have escalated further. Amy's apartment was broken into and her adult content account was hacked. She filed a police report about the break-in, but law enforcement was unhelpful since there was apparently no evidence of forced entry and nothing was stolen. Her belongings had simply been conspicuously rearranged to demonstrate that someone had been there. The hack involved someone accessing her account and making a single post using a pet name she used for Ben that supposedly only they knew. She quickly regained control of the account, but despite changing all her passwords, someone continues to regularly access multiple accounts of hers and is possibly stealing private photos. I had initially considered the possibility that this might be the work of a misguided friend of mine, but I no longer believe that. I can't imagine anyone I know going to these extremes. From what I have observed, the harasser appears to be trying to create the impression that it's me and that I'm too old and technologically unsophisticated to effectively conceal my identity, yet somehow also an expert burglar and hacker. Amy is clearly the primary target, but this disturbed individual seems perfectly content to have me as collateral damage. Since our phone call, Amy has posted videos openly questioning whether Ben and I are actually the perpetrators. She's angry with us, claiming our only concern is protecting our own reputations and asking why we refuse to make a public statement demanding the harassment stop, since even if it's not us, this person at least appears to be acting on our behalf. She says it's unfair that she's the only one suffering consequences from the affair, a statement I strongly disagree with. She hasn't quite explicitly accused me, but has stated that she believes Ben knows who's responsible. He insists he doesn't, and I believe him. My close friends have been supportive, but I'm aware there are rumors circulating about me. My social media remains locked down because Amy's followers harass me whenever she posts anything if I open it up. I'm looking for any guidance on how to proceed. Obviously, we'll be pursuing this through legal channels, and if anyone has had a similar experience and can offer advice on that front, I'd appreciate hearing it. But regarding my relationship, I'm furious at Ben for putting me in this position. Initially, I felt strongly about trying to save my marriage, but all of this makes me want to simply walk away. However, I don't want to give some deranged stalker the satisfaction of making that decision for me, and honestly, how do I know if divorcing Ben would even allow me to remove myself from this situation? How can I reasonably move forward when this person is keeping us trapped in the past? How much support do we owe Amy? I genuinely dislike her, but she absolutely doesn't deserve this treatment, and it increasingly seems like she might be in real danger. Besides the break-in, there was also an incident where she was followed by a van with darkened windows. We certainly have more resources available than she does, but I feel like every time she has an opening, she uses it to try to insert herself into our lives. She says in her videos that she still loves Ben despite everything. If this marriage or even just my sanity is going to survive, I feel there can't be any further communication with her. Does maintaining distance from her make me look guilty of the harassment? And since Amy is the one with all the evidence, how can we investigate this on our end without her cooperation? After 15 years of marriage, I have just come to the realization that my family and I are like the secret side family in my husband's primary marriage to his job. What options do I have besides divorce? I am a woman of 35 and my husband is a man of 37. We have been married for almost 15 years, and we have 2 children, one who is 13 and another who is 9. Without wanting to sound like I am bragging, we are truly blessed in many ways. We are financially comfortable and able to provide a wonderful life for our kids and ourselves, thanks to the combined sacrifices and hard work we have put in. I am a stay-at-home mom, and I have been one ever since the beginning. It was not something I originally thought I wanted until I became pregnant with my first child. At that point, I realized that my husband's job would not allow for both of us to work while still giving the time and attention we desire to our children. So I gladly chose to stay home. I am still content with that decision and have no regrets about it. I love being with my kids and always being available for them. However, the cost to my own independence and sense of identity has been very high, and I have to be careful with my mental health because it is easy for me to slip into struggles with depression and anxiety. I thrive on my to-do list, and I live and love through it. There are no sick days, no time off, and no recognition for what I do. The only reward comes if your child is healthy, happy, and happens to behave well that day. I would not trade it for anything in the world because I love my children more than anything, but it is an incredibly thankless role. Over the years, my husband and I have had difficulties maintaining a strong relationship. For the most part, I do believe he is a good person to those he cares about. He is dependable and highly self-driven. If all we needed in life were material things, we would be incredibly happy. Unfortunately, he can also be very immature, selfish, impulsive, and not at all trustworthy. Our friends and family think we have it all together. From the outside, he appears to be a very considerate and caring husband, and I am sure he is compared to many other spouses. He travels 4 to 5 days a week for work, but when he is home, he gets up with the kids to take them to school so I can sleep in a bit longer. He also handles their nighttime routine and manages whatever sports practices or games are happening while he is in town. He goes on dates with me when I ask him to, and he rubs my feet when they hurt. Each year we go on a couples trip, just the two of us, to exotic international destinations. He even took me on a shopping spree for designer items. It all sounds and looks like a dream life, and for the most part, it is. But last night I had an epiphany that has shaken me deeply. I need to share this with someone in case I am losing my mind. I think we are the secret family in his marriage to his job, and we will never be his main priority. I do not know if I can continue living with that. I admit that I have a history of trust and intimacy issues stemming from abuse during my childhood, by a parent who was bipolar and manic depressive, and a mother with codependency issues who never stood up for her children or herself. As the middle child, I learned that no one would prioritize my well-being except for me. I learned to stand up for myself and for the people I care about, and I have definitely brought that into my marriage and family life. I will always speak up when there is a problem and advocate for what I think is best. I credit much of the life we have been able to give our kids to that approach. In the past, our marriage has suffered from infidelity, which was online only as far as I know. Constant lying, and my husband always putting work above everything else. We have gone to counseling multiple times to try to work through these issues, but the lying and the work prioritization only improve temporarily before he slips back into his workaholic habits. He works in sales and is the typical salesman type. Lying is a major trigger for me, but he is so good at his job because his gaslighting skills are exceptional. He can easily take a negative situation and twist it to make you think it is actually the best thing that could happen to you. For instance, we had a vacation planned for the week of Thanksgiving at our timeshare. We go there once a year to decompress and spend quality time together as a family, making memories with our kids. He is not supposed to work during these trips, but he always does. He justifies it by waking up before the rest of us to handle meetings or emails, but there is always some client emergency he needs to deal with a few times during the day as well. It is the best we can get, though. This year we planned the trip, and not even a week later he had a conference in the same location, but at a different resort, scheduled for the same time as our vacation. He explained that it was actually perfect because we could just shift our trip to start after the conference and stay at the resort where his conference was at the beginning. That way, our vacation would be longer. Hooray! It sounds so great, right? Until he added that we could not bother him during the day because it was a very important work conference. We probably would not see him much, as he would need to get up early for work emails. Then the conference would have activities during the day and dinner receptions in the evenings. In the couple of hours in between, he would need to catch up on the work phone calls, meetings, and emails he missed during the conference. So we would be on our own, but the amenities are so nice, so we should just enjoy the resort. It will be great. However, if we saw him while out and about, we should tell the kids to pretend not to know him because that would not be professional. Yes, other employees have their spouses there, so it is not a huge deal, but his boss specifically does not like it, so we need to act like we do not know him in case it gets back to her and looks unprofessional and so on. Okay, whatever. I am very used to him being overly concerned about his professional image. I hung out with the kids and it was fine until we all ended up really sick with colds. Like, no voice, could not breathe. The kids got over it in a day, but I stayed sick. I am still sick now. I still took them on an entire day tour by myself for 12 hours because I did not want them to miss anything. Since this resort is in an area they have not been to before, I took them to the pool, to the beach. We would conk out every night by 7 because we were so exhausted and, in my case, sick. Then yesterday, I woke up too sick to get out of bed. No voice, sore throat, migraine, and severe head congestion. I had to stay in the room with the kids on their tablets all day while they begged every 2 seconds to go to the beach, the pool, or anything. But my body had just given up. Long flight, long days, single parenting. It did not matter how nice the surroundings were, my body was done. It also happened to be the last day of the conference. I saw my husband for all of 30 minutes. He told me I looked and sounded awful and that he was so sorry. I asked if he would drive me to the store to get medicine. He said he did not have time. I had to order it from DoorDash. It arrived, and I felt well enough to get ready and take the boys to dinner at the hotel restaurant, since they had been cooped up all day. I sent my husband a picture of our son's sushi, and he came over to say hi for 2 minutes, commented that I looked pretty, and left. The kids and I finished up and went back to the room to crash. I woke up several hours later and noticed my husband was not back. I checked the time on my phone, and it was after 1 in the morning. I called him, and he answered, saying he was just walking back to the room. He had been networking in the lobby bar with a client he was trying to close a deal with. And why was I so upset? He was there to work. That is when I lost it. He goes to these conferences, has the time of his life eating fancy dinners, doing private fancy tours and ATV rides, attending catered receptions at night, then closing down bars with his clients because he is networking. Not one check-in text to his sick wife, who could not even get out of bed until 7 in the evening when she got the medicine she had to DoorDash because answering work emails was more important to him. Regardless, he saw no issue with drinking until the lobby bar shut down at 1 in the morning and justified it as work. This is not the first, last, or 100th time something like this has happened. This is just the time when it has been so blatantly obvious that I cannot ignore it anymore. He will always prioritize himself and his career over our family, and I will always have to prioritize our family for both of us. But my epiphany is that I do not have to prioritize him anymore. Is that being an asshole? I am at a point where, to me, it is not enough for a divorce. My kids love their dad, and he is a great dad when he is actually around. He also superficially takes care of my needs better than I think a lot of other spouses do. But I have never been anyone's important person or priority, and it is the thing I have always wanted most. I grew up having to be strong and stand up for myself, but I wish so badly that I could put that responsibility down and let someone else handle it for a change. And I feel like I keep giving him opportunities to do that and stupidly expecting him to because he is my husband. But he does not unless it is convenient for him and fits with his own priorities to himself and his job. Is it okay if I give up on that expectation and stop letting him in so I stop getting hurt? Like, no more couples trips, no dates, no watching the same show at night. No more intimacy, physical or emotional. Nothing that could build back up our relationship and bond just for me to let him in and get hurt and disappointed again. He is a salesman in everything. So when he does those things to build our bond, it is always to benefit himself. I know it will cause a lot of emotional distance and will damage our marriage even more, but we have been to marriage counseling 3 times, and it has been brought up every single time. He always acts apologetic and gets better for a month or 2, and then we are back here again. I feel like a shrew all the time, trying to force him to spend time with us, to let go of work for a minute, or even to just proudly show us off instead of hiding us and making it seem unprofessional or like people will not take him seriously because he has a family and puts them first. Should that not actually be more commendable? I feel like Stuart from Saturday Night Live, begging for attention like, look at me, look what I can do. It is so exhausting and I am so tired. I am sick of being what is essentially his secret family on the side to his marriage with himself and his company. Like a booty call when he has time. For my own mental health, I need to stop prioritizing him constantly at my own detriment. I need to become my own person. I plan to start taking steps to have my own career when we get back. I have looked at some options. I am canceling the activities we had planned as a couple for the remainder of the trip. I booked them anyway because heaven forbid he make the effort for one-on-one time that is not physical. And I am getting my very first tattoo. It is going to be small script and say when you rely on someone to feed you, you give them the ability to starve you. I need the reminder on my body constantly to stay strong, to only rely on myself. Is this unfair or too harsh? Is there a better way to handle this? I cannot divorce him while the kids are still living at home. As their mom, I know it would not be the best thing for them in this situation, and people will have to trust me on that. It would also be a waste because after my childhood, this marriage and everyone I know's relationships, I am pretty convinced I am too emotionally needy for the kind of relationship I want. Book boyfriends are unrealistic. I will never get married again or open myself up emotionally to someone. Enough is truly enough. I actually desperately want the freedom of only relying on myself for my own happiness. Is there even another path to this situation besides that, honestly? I am not open to being vulnerable anymore. I just simply cannot be. I would love some advice on how to handle this. I do not need or want a moral judgment. I would love to know if this has been anyone else's experience and what they have done, or even if you have been on the other side. I am a huge proponent of trying your best to look at both sides when making decisions.